One of the things that we've been looking at in our study of Hebrew grammar are the covenants of the Hebrew scriptures. The Abrahamic covenant in Genesis 12, and now we come to the Davidic covenant of 2 Samuel 7. All the way through the Hebrew scriptures, Christ said, you are searching the scriptures. They really testify of me. And so I want to look at classic text with just a brief Hebrew grammar discussion and commentary seen through the New Testament. So we come to 2 Samuel chapter 7, and Nathan is promising David an eternal kingdom. And notice in verse 13, he says that there will be one that will come after him, his seed, and when your days are fulfilled, there'll be one that will build the house, and I'll establish his kingdom forever. Notice as we pick up in verse 12, Ki yimlahu yamecha v'shachafti et avotecha v'hakimoti et zaracha acharecha asher yetzei mimeecha v'hachinoti et mamlakto. And so as we read it, when your days are fulfilled, and you shall lie with your fathers, then I will establish your seed after you, which shall come forth from your loins or your body, and I will establish his kingdom. Notice as we look at this, we begin with Ki yimlahu yamecha, when your days are fulfilled. Notice the conjunction ki is followed by the verb yimla'u. It's from the verb malah, which means to complete or to fulfill. It's the cow imperfect, third common plural from malah. So when your days are full, yamecha, or are fulfilled. Yom is the noun, and notice we have yameh, a plural noun now in construct with cha, the pronominal suffix, second person singular. So when your days are fulfilled, v'shachafti, and you lie with your fathers. Shachafti is from the root shachav, to lie, and notice we have a ta suffix. So we're looking at a cow perfect, second person singular, from the root shachav. And notice the ve is a vav conversive. It's turning it over, or a vav consecutive. And you shall then sleep or lie. Et is the sign of the direct object, with avotecha, with your fathers. Notice avot is the feminine plural ending with the ot ending, meaning fathers. It's in construct again with cha. So we have avotecha. Cha again is your pronominal suffix, second masculine singular. So when you lie with your fathers, then I will establish the hakimoti. Notice the verb here is kum. It's what we call a middle weak verb. And what has happened here, the hey is showing that we're looking at a hifil form. I will cause to establish. It's a hifil perfect, first common singular from the verb kum. And notice in these what we call hollow verbs like kum, when you add a suffix, you'll see that o vowel, that holum, as a vowel that takes you from, we could say, the root to the final suffix. And that's what is going on here. So va hakimoti, then I will establish. And notice the vav here is a vav hafik, or a vav conversive. It's turning the perfect and putting it into the future. So then I will establish, and I might say this, the reason we have a pathak is because we have that hatef pathak under the hay, and the pathak part of that shifts over under the vav. So it's not like in the imperfect. You do have a pathak in the imperfect when it's turning it over, but then there's a dogish in the following consonant. The reason you have a vav here with a pathak is because of the hurried pathak in the under the hay. And the way I'm trying to simplify it, the pathak part of that shifts over under the vav. So I will establish or set up et zaracha, your seed, acharecha, after you. And notice et, again, is the sign of the direct object. Zerra is the word for seed. Zara is in construct here. So zaracha, you have your helping vowel in the hatef pathak. And cha, your pronominal suffix, second person singular. So I will establish your seed, acharecha. Achar means after, and again we have a preposition followed by cha, after you, acharecha. So I will establish your seed after you, asher yetzeh. Notice asher is your relative pronoun which, and yetzeh, which shall come forth from your body or from your loins. Notice yetzeh is from the verb yatzah. Historically, this verb was a pei vav verb. It would have been vatsa. And in the imperfect here, the vav has dropped out. And so what we have is compensatory lengthening under the prefix yod from a hirik to a tseri. So which yetzeh, which will come forth from mime'echa, from your loins. And notice the mim here is your inseparable preposition. The noon with me'echa, the noon has a dogish forte because the min has assimilated by progressive assimilation into, or the noon, I should say, has assimilated by progressive assimilation into the mim. So min me'echa became mim me'echa. And me'echa means loins. We could translate it your body. And cha is your pronominal suffix, second masculine singular. So after you, I will establish or raise up a seed, and I will establish his kingdom. Notice v'hachinoti, I will establish et mamlato, his kingdom. The verb v'hachinoti is from the root kun, which means to establish. So I will establish his kingdom. We're seeing a similar construction that we saw in v'hakimoti. It's from the root kun, a middle weak verb again. There we have that holum, which is the vowel that is connecting us to the final suffix, the first person singular. So this is a hifil, again, perfect, first person, first common singular from kun, middle weak verb. So I will establish, and then we have his kingdom. I will cause to establish his kingdom. Et, sign of the direct object, mamlakto is from the word kingdom in construct here with o. Mamlacha becomes mamlakt in construct with o. And the o here is your pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. So I will cause to establish his kingdom. And then not only will it be established, but as we move on in verse 13, Hu yivne bayit lishmi. He will build a house for my name. Now here we're talking directly, we could say, about Solomon. Who is your personal pronoun, he, and yivneh is from the root bana, to build, and notice it's a cow imperfect, third masculine singular from bana. So he will build. And by the way, bana historically was a lamed or a final yod form, and we're seeing that change here. I should say we're seeing a segol with a hey, and it's suggesting to us that this verb historically was a final yod form. What we call lamed hey verbs basically went from historically a final yod form to a final hey form. So I think here we're seeing the segol appearing because of this influence that historically the yod, the final yod, had on this root. So he will build a house, bayit, and bayit simply means house, lishmi, for my name. Notice the lamed is your inseparable preposition, shim is the word name, and shemi means for my name. E is your pronominal suffix, first person singular on this noun in construct. Vechonanti, and I will establish et kisei mamlakto. I will establish his throne. Notice vechonanti is from the root kun again, a middle weak root, but it's basically what we find here is a polal perfect, first common singular in the T suffix here. And what you have in your polal stem, it's similar to a PL, but you could not double the middle radical because kun, kavan, historically, was no doubt the way it had appeared. The vav became really a vowel, no longer a consonant. And so what we have here, instead of doubling the middle radical, we double the final consonant in a polel form. And so vechonanti would be, and I will establish. And again, notice the vet is turning this polel perfect and putting it into the future. It's a vav, again, consecutive, or a vav conversive. So we would translate it futuristically because of that in this polel form. So, and I will establish his throne at sign of the direct object. Kisei means throne. I will establish the throne, and here we have a noun in construct with mamlakto, the throne of his kingdom. Notice mamlakto is the noun kingdom in construct with o, as we saw above. And o again is your pronominal suffix, third person singular. So I will establish the throne of his kingdom, two nouns in construct, so we put of between them. Ad olam, literally unto the age. And if we take this phrase together, ad olam, we would translate it forever. So I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. And what's interesting, as we look at the New Testament, this very text was applied to Christ in the announcement that Gabriel made to Mary. Notice the angel said to Mary, "Do not be afraid, for you have found grace with the Lord. Behold, you shall conceive and shall bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus." Now we come to a reference to the Davidic covenant. Notice, hutas estai megas, kai huias hupsistu klethesitai Kaidose auto Kyrios Chataas tan Thranan David tu Patras autu. That is, this one, demonstrative pronoun, shall be great and shall be called the Son of the Most High. Notice kaleo. This is the future indicative, a passive from kaleo. Notice the theta, eta, sigma. Shall be called the Son of the Most High, and the Lord God shall give to him. Notice doso is from didomi, and it's the future indicative active third person singular from didomi. The Lord shall give to him, the Lord God, tan thranan David, the throne of David his father. We're clearly back in 2 Samuel 7 in this referencing that Gabriel's making. And then notice verse 32. As we move on, verse 33, Kai basiluse epitan oikan Yaakov eis tus ionas kai tes basileas autu uk estai telos. That is, and he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever. Eis tus ionas. Notice basiluse is your future indicative active third person singular from basiluo. So he shall reign over the house of Jacob, eis tus ionas. And I can't help but thinking we're referring back to 2 Samuel 7. Eis tus ionas, meaning forever, as we read in Hebrew, ad olam. And of his kingdom, kai tes basileas autu, there shall be no end. Uk estai telos. And by the way, estai is your future indicative active third person singular from emi. And of his kingdom there shall be no telos, no end. And so I believe this prediction is looking at Christ, who is the fulfillment of the Davidic covenant. That Solomon built the temple, but it doesn't stop there. There's going to be an establishment that the Lord would establish his throne of his kingdom forever. And so I think what we're looking at here, clearly seen through New Testament lenses, is that Christ, in his resurrection, entered into the fulfillment of the Davidic covenant. And he is reigning, and his reign is a reign forever. What a wonderful, glorious truth to know that Jesus Christ has conquered death, and he's now reigning on David's throne, and it will continue to be a forever reign. And that's why we all need to know this King, Jesus, in a personal way, and be able to experience eternally someday that eternal reign with him.